I do believe that we're live here this morning. Good morning, I'm Matt and welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. So let's take a quick slurp. Now, before we get into the topics which we're going to be covering with you this morning, those of you which are on the live version, if you could let me know the audio and visual is good or not, as the case may be, you can do that in the live chat, which is going on here live at this very moment in time. So with that said, what we got on the topics for this week? In short, come on, own up. If you wonder what I'm talking about, thank you, Anad, Phil, brilliant. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, we will be discussing that in a few moments' time. So that's topic number one. Oh, it only took a year. Yeah, topic number two this morning. I'm absolutely really impressed with myself, but someone let the team down. They did indeed. Topic number three is a bit of an iffy one, and I really mean it's right. It's not right. It's not right. And I feel compelled to point it out, but it's very wrong. Okay, so put your sense of humour hat on, because you're going to need it for that. Topic number four is the aileron mod. We were chatting about this in the chat just a few moments ago. Is that the EPP Eagle came up and chat a few moments ago, and I thought, actually, screw it, I'm just going to grab it off the shelf. So I've grabbed it off the shelf. I've got it here with me, and we'll be chatting about the aileron mod for the EPP Eagle, if that stays put, in a few moments' time. What's here and on the way as well. Quick topic. Again, I've been exceptionally busy for the last couple of days. I'm going to be busy for the next couple of days as well. So give you a quick heads up on what is here, what is on its way as well. 2000 Squidian is a topic for today's RC Coffee Chat. A before and after. To be honest, it's a bit more of just after the carnage. Top man Wayne in the Facebook group did a fantastic paint and covering job of a wing, and as you may have seen, it might be a bit of a disaster. And the last topic is no apologies, and you will find out what that is in a few moments' time. So happy days. It looks like the sound and audio is the sound and video is good here this morning. Brilliant. So let's get into topic number one. So topic number one is the a giant air structure was discovered. And I thought it was absolutely bloody hilarious, if I'm frankly honest. If we put the video on, there we go, hopefully it'll kick in. Imagine that above your house. Come on, everybody wants one. Very, very curiosity, the UK Navy was apparently tied into this somehow. And I'm afraid, lads, it was a 6 out of 10 effort. There's some bits missing in here, and you could have been slightly more creative in what you've done, but not a bad effort, to say the least. So that was posted in the Facebook group a couple of days ago. Absolutely hilarious. Well done, lads. Well done, lads. Right. Topic number two is it only took a year, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, remember the review which we had of the Reptile S670. It was a very mixed review. We went on a roller coaster ride of good, which is that it does fly rather quite well. And we had some issues with, it's not normal having to cut out the middle section of a model to make it fly so you can fit a battery in it. And then we came back to it does actually fly quite well, and will take a smack in the ground. So yeah, a bit of a roller coaster ride on that one, but it's only taken me a year to be able to do a model review and not say the F word in there. And if you were unsure what the F word was, I have a new mug. So some of you may recognise the mug from another YouTube channel, a big fan of mine. Well, so I'm a big fan of his, and been checking out some free, some goodies at the moment. So I'm rather smug with myself, if I'm honest. I managed not to say the F word in a review. Andy let the team down. and passed the F word during that review. But at the moment, I'm smitten because I've actually managed to do a review and not put the F word in it. I was really impressed, even with the motor mount, which is absolutely terrible. I look at it and you see me just pause and I'm trying to choose the right words in my head, and I didn't do it on purpose. I assure you, it just happened to do a proper review without the F word in it. I was most impressed. And I just look at the motor mount and go, terrible. So it amused me. I missed it out last week. So anyway, topic number 3 this morning is this. You need to put your sense of humour out on here, and I'll explain what happened. Okay, so there was I on Banggood seeing what new products have been and come in, and there was like, oh, boring, oh, see like car stuff, show me the wings, you know. And I'm scrolling down and scrolling down, and have you spotted it yet? Have you spotted what might have made me laugh? I even terribly, it sounds wrong, showed it to the missus as well. And yes, you may have noticed Finger Baby is on the left hand side. That did make me giggle. Sorry, it's a weird sense of humour. Apparently it is a real thing. It's a copy of another kid's toy which is out at the moment. But talk about naming fails. Christmas Finger Baby Interactive Intelligent Panda. That just sounds so wrong, and I just had to share that one with you this morning because it made me laugh my head off. The missus was trying to console me yesterday here in this chair because I did find it mildly amusing to say the least. And so if you spot any screw-ups like that, do let us know because it does amuse me to say the least. So good morning to everybody who is on the live version here this morning. I tell you what, let's move the screens over now. This came up in the chat a few moments ago. We were chatting about, what was it, the that other EPP model, the one which is pterodactyl, which I was trying to speak my words out. Which we basically said, no, we're not having. But then we got into a conversation about the EPP Eagle, so apologies, I can't remember who mentioned it in there. And there was a quick note around the aileron mod for the EPP Eagle. So those of you who don't know, this an EPP Eagle is about a 1.2 meter wingspan, little glidey model. Absolutely brilliant, just for pottering around. You got a nice calm day. And a little all-in-one FPV camera on the top. It's pretty cool, to be honest. As you've noticed, I've still owned one, and it is pretty cool. But one thing which I have noticed is that this one, I did do the aileron mod on it literally from the beginning, whereas Dave didn't do that with his, and they do fly quite differently, and I would definitely say that I've got more control over this one because of the aileron mod, which I did on mine. Now, I'm not going to go into massive detail. What I am just going to point out is that if you do own one of these, you'll see what I've done underneath there, underneath this wing. So, okay, you'll notice I've gone in 10, if I remember correctly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've gone in 10 of the little doodads, the feathers, okay, and then cut it out with a ruler, trimmed in at 45 degrees. And then for the hinge on the opposite side, all I've done is just run some goop glue, or you could use E6000 glue all the way along the EPP. That's been made the hinge, and again, and then all I've done up here for the servos is just put them in. And now I have put them in a strange angle, which kind of made sense at the time, and that's why I went with mine. And it has worked out exceptionally well. The V-tail on the EPP Eagle does work, but having the ailerons really does help nudge it over, especially if you're just gliding around trying to get into a thermal. It does help you control what's going on a lot more. So my tip for that, go across 10 feathers and then cut, and that has been very, very effective. Anything more than 10, and this last one's too thin, if I turn it around the other way, that one there is just too thin. You don't have enough meat on the back of it to put the hinge in there. And that has worked out really, really well for me. Now, you may be wondering, Matt, what's that bit of balsa wood in there? That's just to help it align itself when you put it down into the fuselage, so that it always stays put in there. And of course, a couple of plastic bands at the top, and job is a good one. So Brad, I hope that helps. Sean, good morning. I tell you what, let's move across to our shout out corner. So this is my favourite little section because this is where I get to say good morning to you, or good afternoon or good evening, because remember this is an international RC coffee chat. Talking about international, Craig, big shout out to you. I believe that you are in Manchester Airport escaping to Amsterdam. So we are probably not going to Amsterdam to check out the ladies and the magical plants. Anyway, good morning. I know that now. Brad, good morning. Andy, good morning. Roddy, good morning. Sean, Jazzy, Killer Dave, Julian, good morning. Brian, Elijah, good morning as well. Paul, it's all about the karma. Good morning. Absolutely. What goes around comes around and probably bites you in the ass. Jazzy, good morning. Savino, good morning. Tom at FBV, Craig, good morning. Robert, good morning. Phil, good morning. Scrolling up, if I missed anybody in there. Brad, I may have missed you. And I think, Lee was on and Joe was on earlier this morning. Sipler, good morning, and Magic Jim 11, good morning as well. Now, obviously, if you are watching, and Tom, good morning too. Obviously, if you're watching the recorded version, don't forget you can join in with the comment section underneath this video. So let's go and get our show notes back up. Now, to give you a heads up, this morning will be a quick one. I've got a manic day in front of me, to say the least, on there. So next topic is what is on the way. Now I'm going to leave the screen up. Now this is kind of a bit of a weird one because one of these have already arrived. It's a DW Shining, which I picked up a while ago because I don't think it was $45. It actually came out cheaper. Anyway, I've bought one of those. It has been arrived. First impressions right now is not bad. They have, unlike a certain Yak 55, which I recently purchased, is that this one does have little CNC cut lines to put servo wires down. There has definitely been some fault in that model. One thing which I have been a little bit worried about, and just first impressions so far, is the motor mount. So there's no foam around that motor at all. So the motor mount does look a little bit iffy, to say the least. So yeah, curiosity on that one. What else have we got? I opened my email the other day and received a couple of photographs. And what was it the photographs of? It wasn't naked ladies. It was of the Sky Zone. And I don't know how you pronounce this, because I just reckon they spelt there wrong. So it might be fear. Or they're wrong because it's been spelt wrong. So it's the Sky Zone something or other. And there was a couple of photographs of this one in the inbox and saying, would you like to review it? So I obviously replied and said, thank you very much for the kind offer. I already have one of these on the way, and thank them profusely, blah, blah, blah. But no thanks, in short, because that's not really my cup of tea and I don't want to go down that route. The concern with this one, and by the way, I don't recommend that anybody go, and again, remember, we always hold off final review until we get a model in the sky. But first impressions from what we can see from the photographs is that it looks like, and it's great because I've got the Reptile S800s, that I've got the V2 one, which I've decided to keep here for a while, is that by the looks of it, they've taken everything which was good about the Reptile S800 and made it bad about the Reptile S800. So you have a smaller battery bay, and yeah, it's going to be a curious one. So I can kind of already give you a heads up. The review on this one may not be particularly good, to say the least, because I do feel that they've perhaps stepped backwards and not fixed a few of the minor bugbears which which we have with the Reptile S800. It could have been a step forwards. And in reality, by the looks of it, it is a step sideways and back a bit. So we've got one on the way to take the piss out of it very, very shortly. I'm sure it will be with me in the next week or so. So I'm looking forward to that one as well, to see what it's like, in short. And the other one is the FTC Hunter. I mentioned that one last week. That should be here with me in the next week or so. That brings me on to the next topic, which is actually a very, very cool topic. And I just want to say thank you to you in short. There's no other ways of phrasing this at all. Which is that I'm frankly blown away. I don't know if you can see that number on the... You can just see it just above my head. Let me move that out of the way. Just above my head. There, if my finger carried on. 2008 members in the FaceBalls group. And I have really enjoyed looking in the FaceBalls group, especially over the weekend. And again, this is I'm giving you my point of view. I created from my point of view, I created the Facebook group so that we could all have a chit chat afterwards. And as I quickly worked out, is that YouTube was only one part of the picture. YouTube was great fun and everything like that, but trying to keep up with everybody's comments was just a nightmare, and it still is a bit of a nightmare, and I don't know how much larger YouTube channels cope with it, to be frankly honest. It must drive them bonkers. But that side, the Facebook group is such a nice place to be in, and again, I'm biased. Well, I am biased because if I don't like some of the bits which we see, because we always get the odd member, brand new member come in and go, oh, I've got this for sale, and as soon as they post it, they're out the door, you know, because that's not what the group's about. The group is about helping fellow RC pilots, and again, I've just got that chat up there, which I was just there with Ryan in there, but this is, you're seeing it raw in front of you right now, is that there's a funky little error which David has got, and between the group of us, I'm sure look, there you go, that's the kind of environment which we have in the Facebook group. And I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody who has been joined in with the Facebook group and has helped a fellow pilot in need as well. There's like a topic going on at the moment about the 18650 batteries as well, and that's this morning, and it's a really nice place to be. So if you're not in the FaceBalls group, there is a link to that in the video description below. And if you see a topic which you feel that you can help someone out with, and you obviously look, you can see that's not great. Anyway, if you see a topic which you feel that you can help another pilot out with, please jump in and share your experiences and opinions, whether it be with a dodgy lead within a Tyrannus, or about 18650 batteries, or maybe another topic which is in there as well. So I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody who has been joining the group and has helped make it what it is today. It's absolutely blown me away. Okay. Talking of the Facebook group, the next topic which we'll be covering here this morning is dedicated to Wayne. Now, there was a beautiful... Let me set the tone here. The tone was... Last Thursday or Friday, there was this fantastic picture of... In fact, let me just go to full screen. There we go. There was this fantastic picture, and it was beautiful. There was this beautiful looking wing, and it was based off the Grand Theft Auto, and Wayne had obviously spent some serious amount of time putting this wing together, and you're going to see it in the moment, and you'll see the remains of it, and you'll go, yeah, do you understand where you were going? This is a nice wing, and it was a beautiful wing. He'd spent some time putting it together. It was a Flying Wings Venturi, a fair old size model to say the least. A lot of canvas to put a skin on top of it, and it really did look like the dog's knackers. However, that was, I think, on Friday. That was Thursday or Friday. I saw a fantastic picture of it. It looked like, wow, little motorcycle in the FaceBalls group. Next thing I see, literally, because busy day working on Friday, get up on Saturday morning, look into the Facebook group. Next thing I see is, let me get the right screen up. There we go. And let me move this on here so you can see it. Is that it's... Wayne has managed to stuff it in and give it a cold turkey. Let's look at it. And again, see what I mean? I see it on Friday and it's beautiful. Next day, in pieces. And apparently it's, as Wayne's got on to mention, the main spar's broken in the wing and he might be writing it off. So, yeah, well done, Wayne. Good man. Good man. That's what we call ragging the nuts off or the wings off, as the case may be. So there's a link to that if you want to see the other photos and whatnot in the Facebook group. Really, really good job. Really, really good paint job on it. And I'm guessing it's a vinyl wrap she's been put on there. Such a pity. Beautiful looking wing. And you'll understand now why I was saying it was just beautiful. And you can imagine the original photographs of that. It looked the dog's knackers. And now it's a dog's breakfast. Hey ho. Right, and that brings us to the last topic of today, and I need to give you a heads up. I am very, very busy with work at the moment. Last week I was 2.5 days down because of some fun with a vehicle, which has now been sorted, and Matt is now the proud owner of a much newer version, so he's very happy at the moment. But realistically, for me, this is technically, for me, at this time of the year, it's the quietest time of the year because the people who I help on a daily basis, it's their busiest time, and as such, we go really quiet. But on the flip side of that, is that for us, it's the best time to start creating more video tutorials, and that's what we've been caught up with over the last couple of days, or the last week, 2 weeks or so, and that's what I've got coming up for the next week or two at least. And again, I'll give you a heads up. I will remember this whole YouTube thing was kind of like started by accident. As I'm sure some of you, well, most of you know the history behind this is that it did start very much by accident. I always wanted to do YouTube for a year. I just had no idea it was going to be about RC, and now we are well over a year in now, and I'm still having the same amount of fun as what I was before. And what we're going to be doing, what I'm going to be doing with one of the businesses which I run, is that we are going to be making a series on YouTube so we can help small to medium-sized businesses leverage YouTube as a sales channel, in short. So I will be passing on some experiences, put it that way, with some of the fun which we've had. And it's also been really, really good because some of the businesses which we work with have also started at a similar time and have had a mixture of results, but generally speaking, all very, very positive. So I give you a heads up. I'm trying to like fill you in the background. I'm going to be busy for the next week, 2 weeks, something like that, while we structure a course out to help businesses with my day-to-day job. Okay, well, that's what I say to other people. I work. I don't work. I dick around and have fun. But most other people don't understand that. Anyway, so to give you a heads up, for the next 1 to 2 weeks, I expect me to be quite quiet. Don't panic. I'm just busy. Okay, that's all it is. Whether I manage to get out flying or not is a whole different ballpark. I've got that shining 3D model here to fly or to build and fly at some point. Really, I've opened it up. I've been quite impressed with it so far. I've got that Sky Zone there model to take the piss out of shortly, and I've got that little FTC Hunter on the way to me as well. Really looking forward to that one. And of course, we've got the big full-size Sky Hunter here as well, which is still waiting. I've got everything in. Again, we've got Stiffy here as well. Those of you who don't know, but there's a wing called Stiffy, created by Nick Robus, and we got that one. We've got 2 Wild Things here as well. We are getting into Slopestone season, but at the moment, work has to pull rank, and I will never apologise for work having to pull rank because, as I'm sure you agree, work pays for models. Right, moving on. So I'll tell you what. It's time for us to wrap up. Apologies, I've not kept that much an eye on the chat going on here today. Let me just quickly recap what we've been covered here today. Come on, own up. I don't know who that was, but 6 out of 10, lads. Maybe you should try that again. Hopefully that G's the team on to have a second go at that. Maybe something in that kind of shape would be just as amusing, maybe not as obvious in the sky. Well, that was absolutely brilliant. Topic number 2, which we mentioned. It was the review of the little Reptile S670. I feel that I have progressed to a whole new level. It only took a year and 4 months or something to actually finally do a model review and not say fucking it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I was so impressed with myself. It wasn't planned or anything like that. Yeah, I'm really chuffed. I obviously didn't have enough coffee that day. I do apologise. Normal verbal abuse will return shortly to this channel. No, I wasn't ill as well. Topic number 3. Just plain wrong. That finger baby toy thing. Very wrong. If you see a screw up or marketing screw up over the Christmas period, do post it in the FaceBalls group, because that was a topic which we covered today. Literally 2,000 cool pilots like me and you in the Facebook group. We were perhaps Matt reminiscing a little bit. It's because it is such a cool place. So if you need some help, get stuck, or just want to join in with the cool people for the after party to the RC coffee chats, there's a link to that in the Facebook group. It's free to join on the right hand side of your screen. If you click on the little join button, and one of us will pick up your request later today, as the case may be. We spoke about the aileron mod for the EPP Eagle. Remember, 10 is the magic number for these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is the magic number. And yeah, if I'd snapped this one in half or broke it, I would do the aileron mod again for it, because it did work so well. And if you're hovering and floating around, especially in a thermal, that gives you the extra bit of control which you need, because the V-tail is effective, but compared to the ailerons, it's anemic. All right, so just be aware of that. Very, very simple to do. Cut 2 bolts for 2 servos, cut it, leave it to glue, pin it up, glue it, jobs are good. And control rods, really straightforward. Probably realistically, realistically, all in about an hour with a bit of glue time in the middle there somewhere. As simple as that. Next topic, which we covered today, what's here on the way. Remember, we've got a new model, we've already got a collection of models here. They're just, as you can see right there on the workbench, there's the full-size Sky Hunter. I need to, like that. There's the full-size Sky Hunter. Still on the workbench. It's going to be on the workbench for a good couple more days. Just busy with work, okay? And I'm never going to apologise for that, and you should never apologise for that, because remember, work pays for foam. So happy days in that case. We spoke about the Facebook groups you mentioned a few moments ago. Before and after, if you'd like to see the state of Wayne's Port Venturi weighing in, I still can't get over that. It would look beautiful. I signed in, I could see that you were out flying and stuff, and the next thing I saw was the state of it. So Wayne, 10 out of 10 for the covering job on the Venturi wing, and 10 out of 10 on landing it, because it looks like it's almost a write-off. To say the least. Right, let me just move to the chat very quickly to make sure I've not missed anything. Good morning, Sir Bruce, as well. Let's have a look. Probably got grounded. ZB, good to see you spying on the C1 Chaser build. I really like the C1. A quick note on the C1 Chaser, you do need a lot of aileron throw, you need a lot of throw in the surfaces, so don't hold back when you're setting it up in the receiver on the C1 Chaser. Mix in 40 Expo or something like that for your elevator and your ailerons or elevons, as the case may be, but plenty of throw in there, so yeah, make sure it's set on like a maximum 100, whatever the value is in your transmitter for it, and yeah, it does go really, really well. And the other thing for the C1 Chaser, it did catch us out when we put a really too big a battery in there, is make sure you give it get plenty of air underneath those wings on the launch. So if you're going out and maiden it this weekend, for example, CB, is make sure you or your flying buddies give it a bloody good lob to get plenty of airspeed underneath those wings, just for the launch. And do expect it's very much like the Wings Z84 or even the big Phantom or even the Buffalo, is that it will duck. So when you launch it, it will duck and then power out of it. So that's why you need to give it a really good launch to try and stop the duck, because the duck can catch you out in the ground. So I hope that helps you, sir. James, I'd like the suggestion. In reality is that I probably just won't get round to it. So let's have a quick look. ZB, should I detach my elevons from my C1 Chaser completely? No, mine were fine, absolutely fine. If you're a little bit worried, you can put some Blendum tape down the hinges No, with the C1 Chaser, the hinge, it's a flying wing, so the hinges are at the back of the model. It's not like the Dart, which we saw a couple of days ago, which the hinges were at the back of the model, but they cut out this little lump out the side so it catches every bit of blade of grass going. No, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine with those. And again, also with the C1 Chaser, the servo control horn is mounted on the top, so they've done a good job. So no, I think you'll be absolutely fine with your hinges. So anyway, it is time for me to go. I'd like to say a massive thank you to you for taking the time to watch this week's RC Coffee Chat. To give you an early heads up, it is, remember I said about busy about work, there is a massive question mark over next week whether we will be having an RC Coffee Chat next week or not. I will know nearer the time. Okay, so check out in the Facebook group for the latest update on that one, because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be busy, and there's a massive question mark around that. So I'm trying to give you as much notice as possible. And again, today's RC Coffee Chat was a day earlier just because of personal commitments of stuff which is going on tomorrow. So on that note, it's time for me to go. ZB, before we go, if you have any questions, further questions about this C1 Chaser, check out the Facebook group. There's a whole collection of other pilots which have got them, and they are great fun. If you see on my maiden, I put it this way, I still own the C1 Chaser. Okay, I don't fly it that frequently, but I still really like the model, and it's not gone on to a new home, so that should say oodles about it. So a quick look. RC Skunkworks, why do you have to disable the magnometer on a GPS when using Almost Flight 4? Right, it's actually regardless of the flight controller. In short, on a flying wing or fixed wing model, because the model's always flying forwards, the GPS is enough for the return to home features. That's all you need. Okay. Also, it reduces the layer of complexity for the actual build, and you don't have to calibrate it or anything like that. And also, it reduces the chances of having a screw up. If you turn the compass on with the magnometer, that's what the magnometer is, it's a compass, and you put it too near your motor or an ESC or something which is really noisy, you could have false positives. So that is precisely the reason why it was not included in the iNav series. There is no requirement for it on a fixed wing model. However, on a quadcopter, for example, a device which may be able to spin on a dime with not having to travel forwards, backwards, or in any direction, then a compass would be very, very much required. In fact, it is a requirement of iNav on a quadcopter for the compass or magnometer to be enabled, whereas fixed wing, not necessarily required, and none of mine have the magnometer enabled, and they all come back home successfully. So yeah, not required at all, and also reduces the chances of issues. The best way of explaining it. So I hope that helps, and with that note, it's time for me to go. And RC Skunkworks, how do you do this? You don't enable it. You don't need it for fixed wing, and if you need to do it for a quadcopter, just go and check out the iNav wiki. All answers to iNav are ironically in the wiki, so go and have a quick nose on there for multi-rotor if that's what you're going to be using. Anyway, it's time for me to go, and I'm off now. If you're out flying today, happy days. Chuck a battery in for me, because I'm going to be sat here behind this desk. I've got a chunk of work to get done. So on that note, for myself, Matt, cheerios.